नमस्कार, रसोई के रहस्य के फेस्टिवल्स ऑफ इंडिया में आप सबका एक बार फिर से स्वागत है। हमने इतने सारे सुंदर फेस्टिवल सेलिब्रेट करे, इतने सारे इंटरेस्टिंग गेस्ट्स के साथ, तो आज कुछ अलग क्यों रहे। हम आज सेलिब्रेट करने जा रहे हैं एक और स्पेशल फेस्टिवल जो कि है नवरोज।
रसोई के रहस्य आओ मिलकर खोले हम, रसोई के रहस्य आओ मिलकर खोले हम।
अब नवरोज हम सबको पता है कि सेलिब्रेट होता है पारसीज के द्वारा. So it is celebrated by the Parsis. But this particular version of Nowroz, which is the actual celebration of the New Year, is a very ancient celebration. So my guest today is going to walk us through this wonderful celebration that I personally know very little about, and with everything that goes into making it special and wonderful. So without further ado, let me introduce you to my guest, Anaida Parvaneh. Let me also tell you something about her. So Anaida is known for her very famed rise in the pop scene of the 90s. She is an inspirational speaker, she's a healer, and she's just somebody whose voice, the minute you listen to, you want to either sing along or just keep listening to. This out of personal experience. Anaida, welcome to Rasoi Ke Rahasya. I'm so happy to have you here with me.
It's my pleasure, Payal. It's lovely to be with you.
So, Nowroz. Now, like I was just saying to you a little while back, that Nowroz is something that we understand as a completely different celebration by the Parsis somewhere later in the year. And when I heard about this particular Nowroz, I was very excited and wanted to know more about it. So I'm going to leave the floor to you to walk us through this celebration and everything that goes with it, and I'm going to go pepper you with
Nourooz. So Nourooz literally means new day. No means new, and Roos, like rose, means day.
Yes.
And it's a very ancient celebration from that region of what great Persia used to be, maybe over 3,000 years old, at least documented. And a lot of people other than in Iran also celebrate that, quite a bit of Russia and all the Parsis in India. So it's basically the equinox, spring equinox. So it's the beginning of the spring, the time the day and night are exactly the same. And I think it's the beginning of the spring in the northern hemisphere.
Right.
So it has a lot of nice tradition. It's a big celebration even today in Iran, and definitely for all the Parsis who still celebrate the ancient Persian celebrations and rituals, they still observe it. Of course, they might have Indianized it a bit, but in Iran it's a big celebration. It's the main thing, and for 13 days from the beginning of the first month, which is called Farvardin, the first day of first month of year, till the 13th of that month, there is lots of celebration going. People put a table called Haft Sin, which I will explain what it is. They put a table called Haft Sin, and then they keep going and meeting. Everybody goes and visits everybody. They eat a lot of dry fruit, and on that. The older generation gives AD, like a celebration to all the young kids, get money. So it's a big celebration. And on the 13th day, which is called Sizdah Bedar, which 13, like it's considered the 13th day of first month of the year, and everybody goes out to a picnic. It's considered inauspicious to be at home. So everybody is out on a picnic, and that also has got celebrations. So it's a big thing in Iran and with Persians.
So this is something that, falls obviously in March.
So usually it's got a specific time, which usually falls on the 21st of March, but spring equinox shifts by hours. So like this year, India time is falling at on the 20th of March at 9:03, 9 o'clock, 3 minutes. So that particular time, everybody, they put this, as I will explain to you, this table that they call Haft Sin, and everybody stays around it, hold hand, they pray for good things for the new year to come, and then they all wait. It's like that clock on that particular time, whatever the equinox is, and then everybody wishes everybody, and dance and music, and it's a very festive, very, very nice, fun celebration.
So is it something that happens in, individual homes, or is it something that is celebrated as a community? Because a lot of festivals are such where people celebrate it first at home and then go meet each other and greet each other. But is this like that, or is this a gathering?
No, this is very much at home. So you're meant to be around your near and dear ones and, celebrate with your closed ones and everybody, wishing everybody. So it's definitely in your house. But then sometimes families all gather in one house. But it's important to be around loved ones, and it's important to, basically share festivity in the best of mood, in the best of place you can be.
And moreover, in any case, festivals always usually begin at home. So everyone likes to be at home when, on an auspicious day to sort of, let in all the new energy and all the goodwill that comes with that particular celebration.
Yes.
So everyone wants to do that.
Yes.
And is there lots of new clothes and that kind of stuff as well?
You're meant to wear new clothes, and just before the new year, you're meant to kind of clean everything in your house. So you're not supposed to have any corner that you haven't moved things. So it's also a good opportunity. They call it khane tekani, which means shaking the house. So you're basically supposed to remove everything, not have things stagnant, or if something has been, lying around for that one whole year, then you give it away. So that also is a big part. So of course you wear new clothes, and everything is about celebration.
So it's just something that is happy, and it's just sort of gathering all the positive energy that one can at that point in time and stay with it.
Yes.
Now the food, since you are a award-winning celebrity chef, and we can't not discuss the food in detail, because I've been told so much about the food table on Nourooz that I'm just dying to know what is it all about.
So it could be anything. There is no specific food, though like different parts of Iran does, have specific food. A lot of time, like in the north of Iran, it's quite popular to have sabzi polo mahi, which is vegetable rice and fish. So that's one of the things that, Iranians like to have on that day. But the food is not as much as like they just make everything. They'll be like, everybody tries to outdo everybody else. And, it's very much a big buffet of food. And Iranians are very big on food. They love to eat and they love to feed. So it's definitely a huge part of everything, every celebration in Iran, food.
So what goes on the table?
Rice
what goes on your table?
There.
Let's say what goes on your table.
Saffron rice is always there. So I don't, because my own family is not here and they are right now. But so I don't cook that much. But I like a dish called korme sabzi, which is this 7-8 different vegetables, and it's got rajma and with saffron rice. That's one of my favorites. I don't mind. I like fish as well with the vegetable pulao. So it's not a specific food that you cook on that day. The very specific part of it is the Haft Sin, the table that they put. That is what is around. But in terms of food itself, उतना कुछ खास नहीं है. मतलब जो आपको अच्छा खाना पसंद करते हैं तो वो आप खा सकते हो.
तो ये टेबल का क्या है? मतलब what is special about the table itself?
So you will be surprised कि काफी Persian लोगों को भी ये पता नहीं है. Now the table is called Haft Sin. Haft Sin के बारे में सबको पता है, पर इसके पहले क्या था, lots of Iranians don't know. So right. Haft Sin, Haft means मतलब 7, and Sin is the letter S.
All right.
In Persian language. Now, in ancient time, ये Haft Sin नहीं था, Haft Shin था. So actually, SH sound था. पर and that time so there are 7 things जो symbolic है, and they are symbolic of different things. Now, in the ancient Persia, one of the sheens was sharab, which is wine, because wine was I think a Persian invention. But after the invasion of Arabs and then Islam, that was changed to have sin. So now they put 7 things starting with S as opposed to sh sound.
Right.
So, and that is prevalent. A lot of Iranians wouldn't even know about Haft Sin at all. And it's not even important because what is important is that जो आप table पे डालते हो उसमें symbolic होगा. And I personally, though I observe all the Haft Sin, but I personally add other things which is symbolic. So इसके idea ऐसे है कि आप ये चीजों को table पर रख के, so basically you ponder over the things that you want in the next year, and जैसे आपको चाहिए और qualities जो आपको चाहिए अपने life में और अपने next year में. So all that is how it stands for. So there are 7 things starting with S, which is always on the table. Ek is sabze, which means greens. So just before, say 10 days before New Year, सब गेहूं को भिगा के या any of the pulses को भिगा के on usually in a round shape, and they grow it so it becomes like a green. So that stands for rejuvenation, you know, rebirth, growth, you know, basically growth. Then uske baad ek hai senjet, which is a particular fruit. I don't know what they call it in English. बेर के जैसे लगते हैं, वो dry में आते हैं, dry fruit में आते हैं, senjet. And usko symbol, they use it as a symbol of love. Then they have sumac, which is a flower powder जो आप cooking में use करते हो, sourish flower powder, which is red in color. So that stands for sunrise, sun. Then you have sirke, which is sirka, vinegar. Right. It is symbol of patience. Then you have seer, which is garlic. Garlic is symbol of medicine, symbol of health. Then you have seeb, which is apple, which is a symbol of beauty. And then you have samanu. Samanu is a kind of sweet they make only out of wheat germ. Right. And it's very interesting because they just basically grow wheat, गेहूं को थोड़ा सा भिगा के grow करके, and that they keep they grind it. It's a long thing to do, but then they cook it. They don't add anything to it, but the whole thing becomes a brownish sweet liquid. तो आप imagine नहीं करोगे कि ये sweet है. It's a very different taste, काफी acquired taste है. And samanu is a symbol of power and strength. So these are the 7 usually put on the table. But लोग सिक्के भी add करते हैं. Sikka is coin, so they put a gold coin for prosperity. Sometimes they put sonbol, which is a hyacinth flower, which is a symbol for spring arriving. Then they put a mirror for roshni, you know, their kind, and self-reflection. Then they put sa'at, which is a clock, so symbol of time. And they do just like Easter. Some people like to color eggs and put it there. So in case, especially if they have like a young bride in the family, so it's like a symbol of fertility. Yes. They put shama, candle, so it's a symbol of enlightenment. A lot of times they put goldfish as well. I don't, because then that poor goldfish does not survive too long, so I don't want to encourage that. But this goldfish is for progress. And they put a book. Now in Iran, they usually put the Quran because of Muslims. In the olden days, they also used to put this book called Shahnameh, which was a poetry book. If they're Iranian Christians, then they put Bible. So different people put a different book, which is for symbol of wisdom. And this basically consists the Haft Sin table. And then, of course, people kind of put dry fruits and flowers and other things that might be symbolic to them. But it's a big thing. Like Persians really love to, really do this. If you even go on to Google or something and Google it, you'll see like major tables, and everybody, sends the picture to each other. And so I've seen the big thing.
So essentially, I've been listening so carefully, and this is extremely interesting because in a lot of Indian celebrations, you see shades of what happens here. So this New Year, Nourooz, is celebrated by Iran, irrespective of which religion they come from, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's too traditional. So it doesn't matter what religious they are.
Exactly. So that's really wonderful. And similarly, like you see certain celebrations here in India as well. The first one that comes to my mind, there might be many others, is Onam in Kerala, which is something that is celebrated by everybody. And little things like you talk about the mirror. The mirror is something I know that again, the Malayalis on the New Year put in they have a special receptacle in which they put all the fresh grain and fruit and vegetable and things like that. And they don't look at it directly. They have a mirror. They look at the image of that.
Interesting.
So
why is that?
I don't know. I'm going to be talking to a Malayali for Vishu. That's their New Year, and I'm going to understand what the whole thing is about, because that's also, it's very ceremonial and it's really lovely. So I'm drawing so many parallels here with so much of what is done. So I think it's the universality of the emotions of what everybody wants out of their lives, and what are the elements that make all of us human, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, so you must also keep in mind, like in the olden days, before we are much more advanced in, or politically or differently, different religions, all of that. In the ancient times, a lot of things were based on seasons.
Correct.
So they have become religious over the year, but they actually had nothing to do with religion. They were based on the science of that time, what they understood of that time. So, like, for example, just before Nourooz, the last Wednesday before Nourooz, which was yesterday, it's called Chaharshambe Suri. Chaharshambe, which means Wednesday, and Suri has two different meanings. It can mean red color, it can mean festival, and it also has root, because Persian language has root in Sanskrit. So it also has symbolizes sun, sur. Like in Hindi, you have Surya.
Right.
So that particular day has a lot of different things that they do, but the main part is everybody makes these bonfires and they jump over it and they sing this line saying "Sorkhiyatu azman zardiyaman asto," which means my paleness goes to you and your redness comes to me. So it's a symbolic of all the negativity being transmuted. On that same night, they have something like trick or treat, where kids cover themselves and they all go to different houses with, they call it koshtorzani. So they hold the bowl and they bang it with the spoon. So people kind of put candies and chocolates and all into it. Then they have on that night Falgushi, which means they kind of pray, ask a question, and then they wait on the roadside or wherever, so for passers-by to go and listen to the conversation and expect that, or they open the book of Hafiz and ask a question. But that funnily always finds round Holi. Like it was yesterday and Holi is tomorrow. So and in Holi also they have this whole thing of burning an effigy, bonfire, and it's a symbolic bonfire of good winning over evil, So there are a lot of similarities in the ancient practices because they were based seasonal and mostly on that.
And it's nice because here, when you're starting something new, for instance, what you're talking about the Wednesday and everything that happens, since you're stepping into everything new, a new year, a new beginning, it's like, exorcising whatever is there of the past and putting everything to rest to move on ahead.
Yes.
So beautiful. It's just so wonderful, because these are things that, we don't even think of when we think of civilizations, and we think of, the only thing I remember of Persia when I think of is what I studied in history, world history, the Persian civilization. Beyond that, and that was just plain, it was just the political map, and it was who ruled who and who went where, and it never appears in the cultural history.
Because, unfortunately, everything we study in schools, and that very much includes history, it's a programming of what you are supposed to listen to. Like because I've lived different parts of the world, I've come across sometimes the same story completely being different in a history from one country to another country, the same incident or time. So it's and we just take it for granted that, this is what it is, what we are being told. But really it isn't most of the time. And because of that, we form opinion. Like even been told ki, civilization is like some only 5,000 years old or something like that. We are being told, and now they are realizing in archaeology that actually there are civilizations and there are things that are like way beyond that, maybe as old as 40,000 years. But they don't want, for whatever reason, I don't know why they don't update things and teach. We are kind of stuck in and we're bringing children up with those kind of information, which is not really based on truth. So I think it really serves all of us to basically keep our mind open and not be judgmental of anything. And I personally like to celebrate anything. And it doesn't matter what culture or what. I enjoy celebration. Like I really like Christmas as well. I love Raksha Bandhan. So I enjoy the kind of celebrations that I feel resonates with me. So any reason to celebrate is a good reason, according to me.
Absolutely. And moreover, because everything comes so deep in, it has less to do with, religion or culture or anything. It is more to do with individuals and what you relate to, exactly like you said. So it's an absolutely wonderful way to think and relate to, especially with celebrations. There's no reason to celebrate, and yet there could be every reason to celebrate.
Absolutely. So any reason to celebrate is a good reason.
No, that's it, because that's the reason why my fascination with this entire thing, I think, and that's where my Festivals of India is coming from, because it's more a personal fascination than anything else. And the information that I'm gleaning out of this entire, series is opening up so many doors for me in terms of my understanding of various things and how limited it is.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's really interesting. And now I want to know from you about food, and you've mentioned a whole bunch of things that go onto the table and things like that. And of course, I'm going to ask you to share one wonderful recipe. But beyond that, I want to know, when you, as a chef, was your specialty Persian food, or what was it?
Yes. So I've been in India for a long time, and I have never been to a authentic Persian restaurant out here. Like all the stuff that they tell us, like Irani restaurant, have nothing to do with Iranian food. Absolutely nothing to do with Iranian food. Highly Indianized and nothing authentic about it. So I always wondered that with so much of commonality between and so close the countries are, how come there is no proper presence of Iranian food here? So when I got into food, that's the first thing I did. And the whole idea was, in fact, I started with a pop-up for the Olive Group, and the pop-ups were so successful in 4 different cities that then they said, let's partner, and I was like, no, only if you guys are okay with it being authentic, because I couldn't understand how come nobody has actually tried it. But it really did well. So I specialize in authentic Persian food and healing food, what I call healing food, which is using ingredients that is for a certain, health thing, and then figuring how to make the food tasty using those ingredients.
So the Persian food still continues?
At home. So I got out of the restaurant business just before COVID hit, and that was due to a serious illness. I actually was so badly ill that doctors told me that if I go at the rate I was going, because I was refusing to have an operation, so they said that I am going to my body is not going to last beyond 3 months. And basically that I'm going to die. And it took a lot of guts to kind of stay with my belief, but it worked for me. So because of my really terrible health at the time, I had to get out of work, because I basically got out of the restaurant business, basically gave all my belongings away, packed up my homes. I changed everything around because I thought I was going to die. And when COVID hit, in a way, it was good, because for me, I was kind of no liabilities, no responsibilities, nothing that was, I had to do or was happening. So I was in a free space to heal.
Yeah, to heal.
So I know more. I'm thinking of maybe we can start a standalone restaurant or something like that, but I haven't yet really decided on that.
So we still have you here speaking with us, having defied the 3-month.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
the timeline and everything. So I think it's time for us to hear from you one of your healing recipes. I think you said you'd share one of those, your magic soups.
Yes, I'm going to share the magic soup with you. Now, this particular recipe has been very, very popular everywhere. So I consult for hospitality, entertainment, and real estate. And quite a few of the 5-star that I consulted for at some point or the other have put this on the menu. I also had it at Soda Bottle Loknavala, where I was partnering with them. And I'm happy to share it with everyone. Now, this soup originally I created because one, there was not much of options when I first came to India other than the 5 stars. There were no standalone restaurants which was non-spicy, and I cannot eat spicy food, though you can put chilies in this if you wish to. But and another thing is that for a while I was constantly catching a cold. Like out of 12 months in a year, 9 months I was having a cold. And when you have to do concerts, it is quite a problem. So, and traveling wasn't helping much, because like one day you're freezing in Udaipur and next day you're sweating in Cochin on stage and change of weather and all of that. So originally I created this soup to heal myself. So all the ingredients that are in it are anti-inflammatory, antibacterial, they help upper respiratory tracts. So the whole of these, and if you want, I can tell you a little bit about each one of those as I give you the recipe.
Please do.
But it's so, and when my friends would fall ill till today, I would make this soup and send it to them. And then after some time, they would call if anybody else is ill, can you make some of that magic soup of yours? So the magic soup is the name other people gave it. And I'm happy to share it because it's definitely a good thing. During COVID, I was quite busy. Anybody who got cold, they would be like, can you send me that magic soup? So, and I also believe that one element that I like people to put in is when you cook, put energy into it. Everything has good consciousness and everything absorbs energy. Yes. And that good energy and good intention always makes a difference. And that's probably why your mother's food is always the tastier, because how much love they put in it, because they're so happy the children eating.
That's true.
So this soup I had also done with Gary Mehigan on the TV show they did called Masters of Taste.
Oh, wow.
So I'm going to give you the recipe for this. You can make this in veg or non-veg. So I use baby onions. I'll give you the amounts that I use, but you can really, I don't want to give you quantity of using, because depending to who I cook it for, and I know what they like more, I can go up and down with that quantity.
Right. So it's basically, you can move the quantity of ingredients to suit your taste.
Yeah, you can change it around to your taste. There are some things that you need to put more of, I will tell you that.
Yes.
So I use shallots, baby onions, because if the person has not got a cold or anything where you don't want to do fried and you want to have a better taste, if you just kind of lightly roast those shallots in ghee before you put it in the soup, it gives a nice sweet taste outside, but the inside still tastes half cooked. So you get two tastes in this. Then I put garlic in it, a lot of coriander, so that's what I put most in. Then I put mushrooms, I put carrots, I put pearl barley, I put mixed sprouts, I put American corn, and I use turnips. Turnips I specifically use if a person has got a cold, because turnips work like a natural antibiotic. So in Iran, if you have a cold, they will boil turnips and every 8 hours or 10 hours give you a few turnips, or they cook it and give it to you with honey. So they use it more. My mom was a naturopath, so she wouldn't like allopathy. She was not against allopathy, but it was her last option. If there was a natural way to heal anything, then she would go for that first. So turnips, definitely, if it's in season, you can use. And then I also add a little bit of roasted vermicelli just for taste and carbohydrate if you want to feel full. Now, if you don't want to, like if you're using this like a diet food, then don't put the vermicelli in it. So what I do is I put baby onions first, kind of roasted slightly in ghee. If you want to make a non-veg version, then you can add chicken pieces to that.
Right.
And if you want to keep it vegetarian, shiitake mushrooms are a nice choice. So I kind of roast the baby onions and the garlic and chicken together. And then I'll add my barley, which I have soaked before a little bit, add the mixed sprouts, and I add the turnip. As it's cooking a little bit more, I add a little bit of coriander. So I add the coriander in 3 states. You can put it all together if you want. But the reason I do that is because, one, I want the taste to cut there, but I want to add a little bit at the end to keep it clean and also to keep some of it less cooked.
True.
Because the less you cook it is, the better. So according to how much time they need to cook, I add them in that order. And the mushrooms and the vermicelli, I add at the end. If you want to add vegetable stock to this, or you want to add the chicken stock to this, you can add that and, add the taste to that. That's also up to you. But the main, the one which is most, the ingredient that is most in this is coriander, because coriander in particular is a great vegetable for anti-inflammatory. So, and because, as I said, you add it in 2-3 different ways, you will get the color and the taste as well. I think there is a lot of, it's very good for flu, and it's good for your digestive system, coriander. It's good for your liver function. It supposedly lowers the levels of bad cholesterol, though I don't believe in bad and good cholesterol. But it's great food for diabetic patients because it stimulates insulin secretion. It lowers blood sugar levels. It has anti-inflammatory, antiseptic, antibacterial, antifungal properties.
Wow.
And coriander is fabulous for alleviating cold and flu symptoms. It's also a good food for arthritis patients. So it has a lot of antioxidants. It also helps with to work against salmonella, which is one of the most dangerous causes of foodborne illnesses in the world. So it's got this chemical called, if I'm remembering and pronouncing it right, dodecenal, it's called. DODECENAL, if I'm not mistaken. And it's a natural compound that is probably twice as powerful as an antibiotic for this particular salmonella illness. So they used to use the juice of this plant in their anti-poisonous concoctions of coriander in the ancient times. So it's got a lot of, it's great for your skin. It helps mouth ulcers. It's a fabulous, I can go on and on about it.
And it's no hardship also. Like a lot of things, a lot of greens, you think you might, decide that, I don't like it. And coriander just adds freshness to everything.
Yeah. And it's sweetish.
Yes.
So it's a fabulous taste. Now, turnip itself is very, very low in calories and very high in nutrition. So it actually makes a very good diet food. Like if somebody wants to do this soup as a diet thing, I would say put more of turnip in it because it's very, very high in magnesium as well. It's got vitamin C. It's vitamin K. Vitamin K it has. And as I said, it's fabulous. Like it's a very good remedy for asthma patients. So it basically helps your respiratory tracts. So I think that there was a study, if I'm not mistaken, I read about quite some time back that they were giving turnip juice to asthma patients and it really reduced their wheezing. So, and as I said, in Iran, they use it for mostly for cold and like an antibiotic. And as a side note, turnip juice also helps people if they have body odor. I remember my mom used to suggest it to anybody if they, sometimes they had people came and they said, the young children has a body odor. So she used to suggest that turnip juice for them. Now, onions are again antibiotic, antiseptic, antimicrobial. It is rich in sulfur, fibers, potassium, calcium, vitamin B, vitamin D, and onions are low in fat. So Indian Ayurveda, I think they used to use onions to prevent cancer. Now, one thing I like to remind, like onion is such a commonly used vegetable. It does make a difference when you eat your food if you think about the benefits that it has for you, because that whole placebo effect will actually help you absorb those particular qualities better. Onion is also anti-aging, by the way, and it helps decrease sugar in blood. I think according to Ayurveda, they used to use certain things to do with onion for diabetes. It's got vitamin A, vitamin E, vitamin C, and it also helps against any damage created by UV rays.
Wow.
So it's onion, like I remember, again as a side note, my mom used to use onion juice for pimples. So if sometimes kids during adolescence have a lot of pimples, suddenly face is full of it.
Yes,
I just put onion juice on it for 5 or 10 minutes. It really helps. It also helps for dandruff if you have dandruff.
Yes.
So onion is one of my favorite vegetables, but cooked. So then garlic has again has a lot of healing qualities, and it helps cold and flu. It has this compound called allicin, which has fabulous medicinal properties. It kind of reduces severity of any common illnesses like flu and common cold and things like that. It also helps lower blood pressure. So in certain naturopathy, as well as I think now they use it as supplement, where they have garlic pills to lower
yes,
blood
pressure. They do. A lot of people soak it and keep soak garlic overnight, and then they pop it every morning.
Yeah, it really helps. Now, barley is one of my favorite grains, and it's fabulous. It again helps stabilize blood sugar, brings blood sugar. So for diabetes patients, it's very, very good. It helps a lot of hormone-based cancers. It helps heart disease. It reduces free radicals. It helps reduce visceral fat, which is the worst fat you could have. Yeah. It's high in copper. Copper is very essential in cross-linking collagen and elastin. So it makes your bones and joints flexible. Right. It's high in phosphorus. It's also filling without it being high on calories. So again, if you're using this for a diet kind of purposes, then add more barley to it. It's a very good source of vitamin B. And again, barley is supposed to reduce your cholesterol and also helps in menopause for women. It's high in manganese, in phosphorus. So it's generally fabulous, and it's very good for your face. As I can continue with this, barley is also good for your hair because it has certain vitamin Bs which helps your hair. It also is high in zinc, which is very rich and fabulous in it. Zinc helps promote healing. So when COVID had happened, people were suggesting, have things to do with zinc. So this again, this particular ingredients in this was perfect for any flu and cold. Then carrots is very high on beta carotene. Yes. which gets converted to vitamin A in the liver. So it's very good because it helps fabulous for your skin. So it's got anti-aging properties. So if you're using this again for diet and you want to help yourself look younger, then add more carrots. So again, carrots also supposed to lower your cholesterol level. And it's I like carrots personally even as a quick lift me up mask. Because if you kind of shred it really fine and mix it with organic honey and put it on your face, it gives you an instant glow.
That's a nice tip. Yeah,
it's a nice color. Then I love mushrooms because it's also one of the few vegetable sources of vitamin D that I know of. So mostly you don't get vitamin D from food, but mushrooms are rich in it. Mushrooms boost your immunity. It's again great for diet conscious people because of its volume and less calories, and its filling. It's got riboflavin, which helps in production of red blood cells. It also contains selenium. So there are a lot of different. It's again good for diabetes because it has some enzymes. I don't remember the name of it, but it works like a natural insulin. So it breaks the dietary compounds into simple sugar. It's a fabulous thing. It also again contains zinc. So this combination is very helpful for, better immunity and healing faster. Corn I add for a little bit of flavor, even though corn itself is fabulous in fiber. Again, it's got minerals like magnesium, iron, copper, zinc. It's got vitamin E, vitamin B. It lowers cholesterol, and like carrot, it also has beta carotene. So again, it's good for your skin health of your eyes and all of that. So some claims that corn helps in diabetes, but I am not sure of that. I add mixed sprout for general nutrition because they are rich in minerals, and also you have different tastes. So these are basically the ingredients in it, and they all kind of complement each other in that direction of boosting your immunity and especially for anything to do like a flu. So flu or a cold is not a disease, it's not a particular virus that causes it. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, every time you catch a cold, it's a different virus.
Yes,
Because
it
when
is.
you catch
It is
Yeah.
absolutely.
So basically, it's a symptom of your immunity being low. So that's how you fall sick. And because viruses usually need a cool surrounding, your body temperature can kill them. So they kind of sit at the back of your throat and then get into your airways and go into your lung, which is much cooler. So this is basically immunity boosting soup, so that you can get your immunity high and all these other goodies that come with it, and heal faster. So to help your body heal faster.
So you just chop everything up and it goes
Yes.
in the order like
Now-
you mentioned.
Yes. And I like, even as a chef, I like chopping things so they also look good. So for example, I like to chop my carrots in long bits, but I like to chop my turnips in certain size of squares. So and then at the end, as I said, you can add roasted vermicelli in it, just for it to gives a nice taste. But that is not for any special reason.
nutritive value
Yeah.
or something like that.
Yeah, it's just for taste.
And what are the seasoning? What seasoning goes into it?
So I use salt, and if you like a spicy taste, then I would say put green chilies as well, because green chilies are a very high source of vitamin C.
Vitamin C, yes.
And if you have got cold, it kind of opens up your nose and makes you feel better. Plus, because it burns you, your body releases endorphins to, in kind of counteract that pain. So you get a kick. So you have a little bit of a feel good about it. Green chilies
And these
is
are all
something-
going to just cook in either stock, or if not stock, water, whatever that is. It would just all cook
in water. Yeah, in water. So barley gives it a little bit of thickness.
body. Yes.
Barley, as well as the vermicelli, as well as the corn.
Corn,
Because corn has got a little starch. So that itself gives a taste in it. And what I do is, as I said, like my sprouts, a little bit of coriander, the chicken if I'm using, a little bit of the mushroom, not all of it, because you want to put the mushroom. After I finished cooking, I put the mushroom in it and I just close the lid, because then the mushroom cooks.
Yes.
But it's still that texture which
Crunch.
you kind of can like.
Yeah.
So everything has a different texture. I like to play with it depending to what flavor I want there, but I do not overcook anything. Like this soup, the barley takes time. If you soak it, then it doesn't take as much time. But the barley and sprouts take the longest time to cook. So once they are cooked with a little bit of coriander and mushroom and the chicken and the onion and garlic, then the rest, and as well as carrots, take sometime little more time. The rest you can put later. So the whole soup can be done in half an hour.
And right from scratch, and but in
Right from
case-
scratch, as long as it takes you to cut things.
Yes, of
So
course.
I think within an hour. Yeah.
And what about so in case somebody, if the spice factor green chili is a problem, would freshly ground pepper do as well?
Yes, you can add pepper to it as well. And as I said, if you put like vegetable stock, like sometimes what I do, if I'm cooking other vegetables, then I don't throw the stems and everything aside.
Yes,
I kind of chop them really fine, clean them, chop them really fine, and I boil it. I boil it, and I keep that as a stock in the freezer. So, or I make it before and add to it. So that gives it a nice thickness as well.
Yes.
But that's optional, because this soup by itself tastes nice. and I love adding lemon to it when I'm eating it.
Oh,
So
yes.
that is, lemon is one of my favorite thing. I just love it. So you can play with the spices if you want to, but I like keeping it simple because each of those ingredients has a distinct flavor, so the soup
True.
is never boring.
Yes.
And to my surprise, this is something that kids like a lot. Like a lot of when I had it in the restaurant, I had a lot of kids who came there, and parents were quite amazed, and the kids would like to have the soup. So normally that wouldn't be something, that kids would like, but this in my experience, a lot of kids have liked. So it really, cooking is something to play with. It's an
Yes,
art.
it is. It is.
You don't want to paint the same way every day. So if you're tuned into your food, I'm all for your own experimentation. You know what the ingredients are, you know what you like, and you know the taste that you like. You know what they are good for. So you can do your combination.
And you will be sending us this recipe in print as well, so I can put that in the
I
description.
can send it to you in print. Yes, I can.
I will leave that there for everybody who wants to try it, because I'm going to want to try it as well. I love coriander in any form. I mean, it's just the coriander stalks put into anything, into a soup, just left there, adds just so much flavor to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My God, this has been so, just really so interesting and so wonderful. And you named it the magic soup yourself?
I didn't. Everybody else started calling it magic soup. I used to call it coriander soup because that's the most ingredient. But everybody started calling, send me some magic soup of some of that magic soup of yours, magic soup of yours. So it kind of got stuck, and now I call it magic soup.
It's been rechristened as the magic soup.
Yeah.
This is wonderful, and it has been such an enlightening conversation, and I've simply enjoyed. I think you've just broken everything down in little bits for us that makes such a difference, and I'm so grateful to have had you here and celebrated. I feel like I've celebrated Nourooz with you, and I think on behalf of all of our listeners, we wish you a wonderful Nourooz and Nourooz Mubarak, and hope this year is going to really, really be wonderful, full of
thank you so
healing
much,
and full of abundance and full of joy and peace. All at your table.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure talking to you. And as ancient Persians used to say, Nourooz Pirooz, which means your new day be a success. And I wish all of you complete joy in the new year, lots of light, lots of love and clarity, and an ability to focus on the good, because that's all that matters, and to be present. So lots of love to you, and it's been such a pleasure talking to you, Payal.
थैंक यू. आज का ये रसोई के रहस्य का एपिसोड बस यहाँ तक ही. हमने मनाया नया साल पारसी तरीके में और ईरानी तरीके में. सुनते रहिए, अगले फेस्टिवल तक हमसे जुड़े रहिए, और अब मैं लेती हूँ आपसे विदा. नमस्कार.